This cross-section of people think, hey, when you've got these two guys, they're ranked tied for 4th on how they're going to do this season. What do you think?
I was a little surprised. Statistically, they put the numbers up. They're actually quite similar. Giannis played more games. He'll play more minutes this year. And he just, because Kevin Durant plays for arguably the greatest team ever, Giannis feels more essential to his team. Maybe that influenced the voting. Obviously, the great separator is shooting. And KD's just a better player. If you're going to tell me that over 82 games next season, their production is tied or similar, I don't think that's crazy, but KD's better.
I don't think this is a discussion at all. I think Kevin Durant, if there should be a tie, should be tied for 1st. That's how I feel about Kevin Durant. I realize that his role is compromised a little bit. He doesn't get to show his full game, but I have a hard time putting him ahead of anybody. And you know, with LeBron being there, I mean, I had to think about it for a long time. This guy is so good. The Warriors, in my mind, definitely don't win the title 2 years ago. Last year they were head and shoulders above, but Kevin Durant has been such an important player. He's the best scorer I've ever seen. He's got a chance to be the best scorer of all time. And I just think at 4th, it's ridiculous. I think at 3rd, it's borderline bizarre, and even at 2nd, it's debatable. And so for him even to be in the discussion at 4 or 5, it's not a commentary on the guys in front of him, it's a commentary on his place in the game, and I think he's out of place here.
Yeah, we're discussing these two because they tied, but I think it could just as easily include the guy who finished 3rd, who we'll get to in a second. I mean, we're making it about Giannis, but it's not just about Giannis.
It's not about Giannis. And by the way, Giannis could win. I mean, Jackie was just talking about winning MVP for Anthony Davis. Giannis could win MVP this season.
Absolutely.
Who wins the MVP, as we've seen for the last couple years, is not who the consensus best player in the NBA is. You may have heard me talk about this quite a bit on television, but it's true. Who puts up the best numbers is not necessarily who's the best player. And Brian, I would say this year's finals, yes, if we played it out, it is most probable the Warriors would have won no matter what. But if you look at that first game as being of the NBA Finals being a little bit of an anomaly because of J.R. Smith's relationship to the score, and then you look at that game 3.
That was artful.
But you look at that game 3. Look, Steph Curry had a very hard shooting night. And if Kevin Durant hadn't come and stepped up the way he did, frankly, the previous year as well in Game 3, that whole series could have turned. Cleveland could have won at home, and then there you go. You have a different NBA Finals. I think he makes an impact in so many different ways at so many key moments. As you said, you cannot overstate not only how good he is, but how much he contributes even to a very, very, very good, historically good team.
If he wasn't on a team with Steph Curry, he would have more than one MVP.
Well, that's the X factor, right? Is if he ever weren't on that team, and he were the undisputed #1 guy on his team like Giannis is, will we suddenly see like 32, 8, and 8, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, that's interesting.
Absolutely. I do want to bring in our second set over there because we need to get everyone involved in this discussion. Whoa. Nick Friedel, Kevin Pelton, Mark, and Jackie Ann. Kevin, what do you think? You want to start us off? Where do you see Giannis and Durant in the constellation here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really illustrative to your point, Rachel, of the growing divide between value during the regular season and value during the playoffs. You mentioned MVP. Going into the season, Giannis has the 2nd best odds for MVP, trailing only LeBron James, so I think we're going to see a little bit higher on this list. But then you get in a playoff setting, particularly the NBA Finals, and the size, the skills that Kevin Durant has, in that setting, they make him perhaps the most valuable player there.
This is disrespectful. This is blasphemous. I mean, I don't get this. I mean, I'm with Windhorst. To me, if it's anything, he's a tie for #1. To me, it's LeBron and him, 2 best players in the world. This is the MVP of the finals. And I think all the hate is still coming from Oklahoma City. The fact that he left Oklahoma City, let it go. Kurt Flood is rolling in his grave right now. This guy should be able to go wherever the hell he wants to go.
Yeah, I think this.
So let it go.
This is a joke. This is a joke that Kevin Durant is in this conversation right now, guys, because he's that dominant. I watched Giannis a lot last season in Milwaukee. His numbers are a little inflated because of the rest of that team, not named Chris Middleton. The rest of those guys aren't very good. And so he's had to do a little bit more. Kevin Durant has proven time after time that he can win titles. He has proven now that he can raise his game when he needs to throughout the year. Giannis is going to win an MVP, and he's probably going to go to the Hall of Fame with the way he's playing. But right now, I don't think there's any question. If you need one guy, you're taking Kevin Durant.
You know, we talk all the time in the NBA about a team game and how much the team game matters and sacrificing for the betterment of the team. And here's what Kevin Durant does. And this is your reward from ESPN. We're all calling shenanigans on this. It doesn't make any sense. And it is because Steph and Kevin Durant are on the same team. Let's be real. And there's something about Steph that's lovable to all. He's the everyman. Kids on the street, they grow up thinking, I look like Steph Curry. Maybe I can be him. And everybody knows it can't be Kevin Durant. And Kevin's going to be upset. We already know that. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Go get him, Kevin.